Michigan Supreme Court has agreed to take a case having a major impact on the state's minimum wage.
And this could raise the hourly rate for minimum wage workers by several dollars. Fox News' Charlie Langton is here now in the studio to help explain how this could affect the worker locally. Charlie.
All right. Well, thank you, Taryn. Well, first of all, this is a case that does involve the restaurant industry, minimum wage, yes. But the real issue that the Supreme Court wants decided is whether the legislature can change their mind within the same legislature. So what do I mean? A little background here. Back in 2018, a group called One Fair Wage, they wanted to raise the minimum wage. They went out and got 400,000 ballots. It was going to be on the ballot for everyone to vote on. But under the law, if the legislature likes the idea, the legislature can adopt the proposal. And they did. The workers won. That was great. Then, after the election, the same legislature, in lame duck session, the legislature said, we're going to change our mind, and we're going to go back to the old ways. The restaurant people won. Well, now lawsuits. And the first lawsuit, Court of Claims, this adopt and amend, that's the strategy, that's the scheme here, unconstitutional. The workers won. Well, then the restaurant sued. Court of Appeals reversed them. Do you get what's going on here? It's so confusing. Now we're in the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court is going to settle once and for all. What can the legislature do? Does it affect restaurants? Take a look at two opposing views.
As far as the minimum wage is concerned, most restaurants, and I'm talking about McDonald's, even, they're starting people at $15 an hour.
Your food and your service is good, but your wage is despicable.
Two people with very differing views on the Supreme Court taking up a case that could have an effect on the minimum wage, including tip workers here in Michigan.
National Restaurant Association thinks that if this bill passes, 40 to 50,000 people will lose their jobs, just because we'll have to go with less people because of the rate increase that we would have on employees.
Has Burger King closed down? Has Kentucky Fried Chicken closed down? Is Taco Bell still open? Heck,
But you're not tipping there, are you?
Oh, I tip everywhere I go.
At McDonald's?
Burger King, McDonald's, everywhere I eat, I tip. You go into places and ask them about the man that tips everybody.
Then why is there a help wanted sign on all those fast foods?
Because they are not paying them enough.
I guess they just don't want us to make any extra money.
Kathy has been a server at Andiamo's for 33 years. She feels with the extra wage increase, she could be laid off.
People are going to be aware that we're getting an hourly rate and not have to tip because they feel like we're already being compensated by the company. But we prefer to work on our own merits.
The worst thing that's going to happen is that you're going to make less profit.
Yeah, we'll make less profit. We'll have to raise prices probably. And again, who gets hurt? The consumer. All
right, so as you can see, two definite differences of opinion. Reverend Rideout, we all covered these protesters, $15 an hour in front of McDonald's. Okay, so today, Reverend Rideout, he's very happy that the Supreme Court took this case. But people like Joe Vicari, who own a lot of restaurants, he's worried because they could up the minimum wage and include tips, and he says he could go out of business or pass the increases on to the consumer, and that may not be good as well.
Well, I know some restaurants, for instance, out west, they set a minimum wage and they paid their employees more, but they say no tipping. Mm-hmm. And some of the wait staff really enjoy that but then others, they like their tips. Right. So yeah. I don't think you can win.
It's interesting. We're talking about restaurants, but it's a very interesting, a little esoteric here, but can the legislature change its mind within the same legislature? And really, that is the question that the Supreme Court, I don't think the Supreme Court is even going to mention anything about McDonald's or Rideout or any of this stuff. Nothing. But it's really a legislative issue. And really, think about this. The legislature, in effect, took the issue away from the public. We did not get to vote on it. And that, I think, is really the big issue and why the Supreme Court wants to take this case.
And that's what's interesting about that adopt and amend thing is why not just let the petition speak for itself, put it on the ballot, and let people go ahead and decide for it?
And maybe that'll be the remedy. Or do we revert back to the first time the legislature did something? We don't know. Yeah.